There's this moment in Genesis chapter 22 that's just unfathomable. God tells Abraham to do something that I'm sure Abraham never thought would come from God. He tells him to sacrifice his only son, to take Isaac to the area of Moriah on a mountain and make a burnt offering to the Lord. Now, Abraham has been waiting decades for his son. Years ago, God promised that he'd have a child, that this child would be a descendant who would have descendants who would have descendants, and eventually Abraham's descendants would be like the sands on a seashore, like the stars in the sky. And so he's been waiting for the longest time, and here God is telling him to do what? It's completely overwhelming. But yet Abraham, in faith, decides to walk forward, decides to take this step and trust God. I just can't imagine doing that. And he's going with Isaac, and Isaac looks to his father as Isaac's carrying the wood for the burnt offering and says, "Father, where's the ram? Where's the sacrifice at?" And Abraham's reply, I mean, you could imagine as he's saying this, he knows what he means, but yet he doesn't know what he means. For his answer is, "The Lord will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And he thinks that the burnt offering, this lamb that's been provided, is his own child. But thankfully, God stops him. God stops him from making the sacrifice. He just wanted to test his faith, I guess. And in one quick moment, Abraham looks over into the thicket and he sees a ram that's caught in it. And the Lord has provided. Abraham actually names this place, "The Lord will provide," because he said to his son Isaac, "The Lord will provide a lamb for the sacrifice." And here he has. And this thicket caught in it is the sacrifice, the burnt offering for God. But think about this hundreds of years later, because this sacrifice, it's an anomaly. God would never ask anyone to do human sacrifice. And yet we see the only other similar story is in the Gospels, when God sends his own son to be sacrificed, the lamb that was slain for our sin. And we can't help but know, as Jesus is walking up that hill of Calvary, as he's walking towards the cross, you can't help but think to yourself, where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Where's the lamb for the sacrifice? And looking at Jesus taking every step forward, carrying that burden of wood on his back after being beaten and accused and humiliated. And we can't help but say, the Lord has provided a lamb for our sacrifice.